I used to worry, thought I was going mad in a hurry, getting stressed, making excess mess in darkness. No electricity, something's all over me, greasy. Insomnia, please release me and let me dream of making mad love to my girl on the heath. Tearing off tights with my teeth, but there's no release, no peace. I toss and turn without cease, like a curse. Open my eyes and rise like yeast. At least a couple of weeks since I last slept, kept taking sleepers, but now I keep myself pet. Deeper still, the night I write by candlelight, I find insight, fundamental movement. So when it's black, this insomniac, take an original tack, keep the beast in my nature under ceaseless attack. I get no sleep, I can't get no sleep. I need
Alrighty, good morning everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Today is gonna be a relaxing day. I've got Magus over. He's hanging out in Florida for the next week before we go to New York. So I won't be streaming next week, but I'm happy to say that the weekly streams are back. We'll be live every Monday, just like the old days. And I guess the timing couldn't be perfect because hopefully, you know, we pray right now the market bottom is in. That's at least what it feels like at this moment. I hope that I got a few of you guys on the right side of the trade over the past few months for sure, because we've been ultra optimistic down at these lows. Let me know if the background music's okay. I've just recently found out that I play my background music too low and no one can hear shit, so I'll keep it louder today and we're good. But yeah, how you guys doing? I know Nelly's been crushing it. Shout out Nelly in chat. I know Livid's been crushing it. Livid recently swapped to some EMA style trading and I've seen it pay dividends for him, so we love to see that. But good morning everyone else. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So the streams are gonna be pretty simple. Like I'll do some Bitcoin stuff and then Magus and I can yap. We'll just take it easy. Any questions you guys have, throw them our way. I only saw one question. How many points do you have on variational? I think I'm like top 300 in points. I forget what the last count is, but pretty good. Are you reading YouTube chat on your phone?
Yeah, that reminds me of the James Witten thing that made him like popped off. I don't know if they can even hear me.
Can you guys hear him, or is he too far away from the mic?
Yo. I just think of the James Witten.
Maybe I
thing
get
where
like...
people asked him how many points he has, and that's when he like had his aneurysm on the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the thing that gets shared of him all the time.
Shout out. Yeah. Thanks, man. No worries. No worries. We love you, dude. He's a bit far. Okay. Okay. We can scooch in closer for you guys. Oh, I still have the background up. All right. Let's go straight into it. For the most part, Mag's just gonna be hanging out, guys. If you have questions for him, we can scoot him in. But I kind of forced him to come hang out today. Like, what the fuck else is he gonna do? I've got to stream. You gotta get your ass in here too. All right, coffee's good. Zin's in. All right, boys. So Bitcoin, the place that we've been speculating on forever now is the prior all-time high, right? We drew this super simple, stupid horizontal line, and the thesis behind it was as left curve as possible. Bitcoin is kind of a boomer asset now. We've seen the increase in like ETF flows and all the participation across the market. What are boomers going to do besides their stupid diagonals and horizontal lines, right? So let's dumb ourselves down and not overcomplicate things and recognize that this is the first time Bitcoin has ever had an 8-month consolidation amidst a bull market, right? And where did it do that? It flipped the prior all-time highs. If you guys remember some of the tweets that I was putting out back here, I continue to put the Bitcoin monthly chart and how often we were closing above 58K. 58K in the 2021 cycle was for distribution. Below 58K this past cycle was for, was for buying, right? And we're seeing that play out once again. What have I done with my positioning? I was super optimistic, buying Bitcoin spot on these pukes all the way back in February. I let you guys know back then, I tweeted it out that all perp profits that I make, any swings, intraday trades, anything that I do is going into spot BTC. I did that for 6 months straight, built myself up a good stack, took advantage of the low prices that came in last time with Sailor, picked up spot, talked about that on the timeline as well. We longed this bottom, Magus, myself, Nelly, a few other guys. We all kind of held hands and caught that bottom together. I'm pretty sure you're still holding your long.
Partially.
Mag said he's still, I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's still partially long from that Pico bottom entry. I ended up closing my swing a long time ago. Like, I think I wrote it 58 to 66. But spot long in the moment, a couple altcoins that we'll talk about. But it looks good, man. I think the only other thing we need to talk about is what I often mention to you guys is like the God trend in crypto. And I'm going to go over the CME chart real quick to represent this, which is the weekly trend, right? The weekly trend is kind of the end-all be-all crypto trend for me as far as EMAs go, and it has been the most consistently, high signal trend in the market for me, right? So a lot of people have this in a different way. You'll see a lot of traders out there with similar EMAs with the 100 and 200 on the daily, and talking about a big break here, right? These are the same guys that talked about the weekly trend break back on the Japan yen carry trade. They talk about the weekly trend break when we had the tariff FUD, right? I maintained that the best part of this trend is to hold the 365-day rolling on it, right? So I'm going to take that same stance again and say, well, from a trend perspective, we have not broken the downtrend, right? If you're a market structure guy, if you're a price action guy, you just look at this and say, oh, it's still a lower high as of right this second, right? We're still in bearish market structure. For me, the counterpoint that I've been making forever is the momentum loss argument, where we're just consistently crabbing at the 60K region, right? Bears had fuel to send us lower. They had the Sailor FUD, they had the War FUD, they had stock market FUD, right? And what did it do? Absolutely fucking nothing. So for that reason only, like, I've been very optimistic down at these lows, and it's been paying off so far. So as far as the trend argument goes, there's still more to be desired. I think if you want to make a one-to-one kind of comparison to last cycle, you would say, maybe this is our kind of January 2023 rally, right? As you guys can see, it took a lot of time for us to build enough steam to make an all-time high push. With this being, I think, the most Mickey Mouse Clubhouse bear market of all time, just the simplest SR flip, couple months of down followed by 6 months of sideways. It wouldn't surprise me if we're just gearing up to be ultra bullish a lot sooner than a lot of us anticipated. The title of my last stream was Price Optimist, Time Pessimist, basically saying, like, I think we've got more time. I don't think Bitcoin's going to all-time high tomorrow. But what did we get, right? We got a burst of momentum here. When Bitcoin has momentum, you want to continue trading momentum, right? Don't overthink it. Don't mid-curve it. Take the continuation setup, simple flushes, simple, daily VWAP tags like this morning. We can talk about that in a minute. Just continue playing the momentum, right? The next level to watch out for is probably 365-day rolling, which is around 81. That's right around where the prior highs are. I'm sure there'll be some profit taking there. The hope for us on Bitcoin is if we can build out a little bit of a range, right? We don't want to see this impulsive move retrace. You want to see Bitcoin build some value higher. And from then, just be optimistic on any dips that you get. If you're feeling underexposed and you get the option to buy a little bit lower, whether it's soon or whether it's a couple months from now, I think you take that opportunity, right? Remind yourself, if you're feeling stressed out today and you're like, I'm underexposed, well, the next time the market gives you cheap prices, don't be fearful and say, well, I need it lower. Just remember that underexposed feeling that you're having today and take advantage of it the next time the market gives you an opportunity to get in the market. That's enough rambling. I'll catch up with chat, and hit me up with any questions you guys may have.
They're literally all just saying my name in the chat.
Really? We have Paragon Autism in the public stream chat. I love to see that. Get him a bit closer. He's just lounging, dude. Guy's in full vacation mode. Is this stream IRL? Yeah, he's sitting right next to me. L comms for Magus. What do you use for the weekly trend? Type in !trend into the chat. Thank you, Nelly. About to cook a doc meme and win the Nelly giveaway. Yeah, I saw that he did that. He actually asked for permission. He's like, "Can I put you in the contest?" I was like, "Of course, man." I'm excited to see what kind of autistic kind of memes you guys come up with, man. It's all gonna be gay jokes. I already know what it's gonna be.
You confirm for them that I'm not bald.
He is not bald. Full head of hair. Got 606 variational points for 4K. Did you buy it OTC? What is the current OTC price on variational? Last time I checked, I think it was like 24, 26, which is already solid. But I think given the state of the market and the fact that they are going to TGE the end of Q3, which is really just like a month away. If they stay on that schedule, like I think the environment for the market is prime for, you know, one of those classic TGE rippers, right? Whether it'll have continuation or not is yet to be seen, but like I think you could optimistically say, hey, the coin launches and gives you a 24 to 48 hour window to just play some momentum to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. Is Magus a 6'4" Chad? I can't confirm or deny his height for you guys.
You skipped a couple of questions.
Did I?
Not a basic SR.
Basic one maybe. What do you need to see to consider a level flip to reclaim if a candle close on which time frame? It's gonna be relative to the time frame that you're trading. So if you're looking at, you know, a weekly chart, it will be weeklies. If you're looking at daily, it'll be dailies. But I consider levels reclaimed when you get a flip in the dynamics of how it's trading. So let's draw this out, right? If this is your SR, right, and we're trading up into it, but we're running into supply and you're just getting weak pushes through, and maybe you're getting a lot of perps long in the top and spots no longer supporting, it doesn't matter to me if we're closing candles above that certain level. It's telling me that we're running into exhaustion and absorption, right? You're basically getting a loss in momentum, the driver of the force. Like if this whole rally was very spot supported and now spots calming down, maybe there's some profit taking, maybe some perp longs are closing and realizing their gains. And you get some late longs in there. That to me is not a healthy breakout. It doesn't matter if we're above the level. Now, the one way, if you want to make this very simple for yourself as far as an SR break, what I love to use are EMAs and expansion candles. So expansion candle is something like this, right? Where we have our range and you just have a Chad fucking candle through it. You're going to call that a breakout, right? You don't want to look at that and immediately say that that's bearish or that's an SFP or whatever it may be. You would just say, as long as we can hold on to value and not fully retrace back to the origin of this move, it looks healthy for higher, right? So, you know, TLDR, like if we run into supply up here, I'm not going to call it a breakout. Doesn't matter if we're above it. If we get an expansion through it, I'm going to look to play momentum continuation. The other thing that you could use is just simple EMAs, right? If there's an EMA guiding you through a level, right, and you're tagging it every single time, you could just make your invalidation that EMA. Or if you're a VWAP guy, you could use, you know, value area high on whatever VWAP, weekly, monthly, whatever, and say, hey, if we start rotating back into value, that'll be the invalidation for like momentum continuation. That's pretty much like the ways to simplify it for yourself. So if you're not a fan of the order flow explanation or, you know, simple just supply demand explanation, you could just use simple indicators and Chad candles. How's the can someone check and tell me how's the stream on Twitter? Is it like lagging? Is it good? Is it clear? Because I kind of want to start doing the dual streams. So, I mean, why not? I prefer you guys in here. Actually, let's check. Do I have any like comments on Twitter? Probably not. You guys are probably just watching it on here, right? Oh, a couple. What up, Let's Go? What up, Nico? I see some messages on Twitter. Not bad. That VVV trade you and Charlie posted about came in clutch. Shoved into with big size. Let's fucking go, dude. Yeah, I was going to talk about VVV anyways. I took another long this morning. Probably draw this on the chart. But this is kind of the trade thesis, right? I posted this because it reminded me a lot about CASPA 2023 summer. If any of you guys have been following me since then, you guys remember how many fucking CAS bull posts I made summer 2023 going into Q4. And this just reminded me of that same setup of a coin that has a simple trend respector, resetting to the weekly trend, weekly demand. I picked up spot down here, round trip this full thing on the spot, right? And the second time it came around with this momentum loss in the weekend, I caught the perp long, right? So I closed out the perp long the first swing, and I took another one this morning around like 16.8 or 16.9, I believe. So that one's running. But this thing looks good. Like, I'm ultra optimistic on this. I think this is one of the best looking coins in the market. You guys saw what Hyperliquid's been doing with a very similar setup, just simple high time frame support resistance flip off the weekly trend, right? Support, resistance, weekly trend, like in a trending strong market. Just keep it as simple as possible, right? And the move that Hype made, obviously it was guided a lot by that Trump hyperliquid headline. So I think it's a little bit ahead of schedule, meaning like I would still think hyperliquid's going to go to these prices. I think we just got there a little bit sooner because right environment, Bitcoin strength, bullish hyperliquid headline, bullish hyperliquid structure, like all the right ingredients were there for that 20% day that it got. And I just think, you know, VVV is the same type of situation, right? It's ultra strong. It was the only coin, I believe, well, Hyperliquid, I guess, is the only other one that made all-time highs in a bear market, that was in really good structure in a bear market. Didn't care what Bitcoin was doing. So I'm hyped on this one. I'm glad you guys caught it too. I think a lot of people on Twitter are fading this one. Do you think it's possible that we build value here and have one more fake drop lower into October for a high time frame higher low? I think that's very possible. So going back to Bitcoin, for me, so I made this, I'm just going to share this with you guys. This is the core plan I made with Paragon a while ago, saying that if we can get spot demand above 73K, I think a bull market's in, right? I'm not going to wait for the trend flips or anything like that. The fact that we blasted through this level and we're holding above it, I think just means that any dips for me that come into 73K or lower, I'm just going to be optimistic there. I'm not going to be looking for lower lows. I'm not going to be looking for 60K or anything like that. I'm just going to take the opportunity to pick up coins that I like. Like one of the ones that I'm sidelined on at the moment that I want to position is Pump Fund. So if there is a Bitcoin pullback in Q4, right? Like we all know December, you know, Christmas, New Year's time, not a lot of people are trading. Volatility calms down. And if you get in a liquid move down, especially if it comes with FUD, like that would be S tier setup for me, a retrace into a place that I want to position anyways. And there's negative headlines with it, like we're going to take that trade for sure. So like the thing at this point is your game plan should just be, let's trade momentum while it's here. When momentum dissipates and we get some signals that we're getting some exhaustion or calming down, losing some trends, let's look for some retraces, right? Simple ABC game plans with trends. If you guys have been following me for a while, you hear me say, you know, H4 D1 weekly, right? And that refers to the trends, right? You lose the H4 trend, you look for the daily trend. You lose the daily trend, you look for the weekly trend. So right now we're above the 4-hour trend. Clean up some of this. Simple plans for now. As long as this holds, I'm going to continue, you know, just aiming higher, right? This is the most dominant trend in the market for the prior 2 weeks before the breakout, right? It's once again being respected up here. Let's just hang our hat on the 4-hour trend for a while. Can you explain the perp setup that you took on VVV? I saw Bitcoin tag the daily VWAP and I was way too late to take the Bitcoin trigger. Like we're just hanging out this morning, eating breakfast, talking, chatting. And I think Bitcoin gave you a very clean daily VWAP tag, right? So if I'm like active in trading and looking and, you know, locked in for New York session, I'm taking this long for sure. I missed this. I think Bitcoin bounced. I missed it by like 5-10 minutes or something like that. I saw VVV. And for me, this is very simple trend-based mechanics too. Build a comp, expand, build a comp, expand, build a comp, expand, all while carried by a trend. I see this and I see a big puke on VVV. I'm taking the opportunity to get into VVV long, right? I'm invalidating myself at new lows, right? Because we're playing off the back of Bitcoin strength. You're just kind of taking a beta trade. So what are we up on this? I think I entered at like 1680. It's already like 4% up. I think that's, you know, I'm going to hold on to this a little bit. It's not as sized as well as my last VVV long, right? The one that I took from down here, just, you know, we sent it. The one up here, I'm just playing momentum continuation. The reason I closed my swing, by the way, is because of the previous quarterly value area high. Like this is the rotation that I nailed, right? Previous quarterly value area low, previous quarterly value area high. That rotation's done. I feel like the thesis for that trade is finished. So from here, it's more about just like scalping momentum as it's here rather than, you know, full stack sending swing longs after something's already pumped 70%, which is, you know, maybe counterintuitive to the whole idea that we've got momentum. Let's continue, you know, pushing while it's here. But like, I want to lock in those gains, pay myself and take responsible bets. Where's this one at? Oh, right here? Yeah. Hi, Doc. I'm honestly in an oversized short position from 72K that has been building, that has been built from my decision to add to my shorts because I couldn't accept the big amount been in the red, so I started adding more. Any advice? Yeah, man, I think we've all been there, right? So like adding to a loser to pray to come back to break even, you're kind of just at the mercy of the market, right? And if you've experienced this in any fashion, whether it's longing the dip on Bitcoin and kind of just saying, I'm gonna get an out, I'm gonna get an out, I'm gonna get an out. The market has this way of continuing to grind in the direction against you until you can't handle it anymore, right? Until you either run out of margin or mentally you just can't hold on to holding those red numbers, right? And you're gonna end up probably closing it at the eventual pivot. So, you know, the advice for now, right, for you, I think you're just gonna have to treat this as a learning experience and fall back on this next time to not put yourself in this position, right? There's no good answer here, right? I don't want to tell you, hey, just take the L right now. I don't want to tell you to add to your position. That's probably the last advice that I ever give you. But just recognize that you are at the absolute mercy of the market right now. There's nothing kind of in your power. There's no setups in your power. You're hoping trends break. And you're hoping to get back to break even, right? You want to always trade the market from a position of strength, right? You want to know where you're wrong quickly. You want to exit those positions quickly when you are invalidating your thesis. The longer and longer you hold on to a bad position, the more likely you're going to blow yourself up, right? I say this a lot, and I've said this in the group, which is no one blows up an account by taking 100 losses in a row. Like if you're a 1R trader, it's almost statistically impossible for you to be bad enough to lose 100 trades in a row and blow up your account. Most people blow up their accounts by chopping themselves up, then convincing themselves, hey, this is the giga banger. This is the trade that's going to make me a hell of money. And you can't accept the loss. So you blow up the entire account with one trade. I've asked a lot of people and they all kind of agree that they've had similar experiences where it's just one trade that gets you. That one trade is the one that ruins an account. It's not going to be 100 scratches. And I'm almost never heard that. I don't know about you. You want to add to that?
I mean, you can die death of a 1,000 paper cuts. That's real, but it's pretty valid, obviously.
I don't know if you guys can even hear Magus. I'll tell him to scoot forward. Okay, cool. But yeah, man, I think you know, hopes and prayers at this point that it works out for you. But you know, for me, like if I'm in a position, this is what I've like taught myself, you know, over the years from making poor decisions in the past too, is like if I'm wrong, I have to accept that. And more so, before I even click enter on a trade, I have to tell myself I'm wrong here, right? If I take a daily VWAP, you know, long this morning, well, if Bitcoin just continues to bleed through and I look at, you know, Agger and it's just consistent spot selling through there, you know, I don't really want to just continue holding when the market is proving my thesis wrong. When it's saying, you know, we puked in the daily VWAP, actually there's more sellers and we continue bleeding. Well, where am I just going to keep moving my invalid? Oh, let me just invalidate myself at daily value low. Let me just invalidate myself at 2SD. Let me just invalidate myself here. I'm just going to continue taking bigger and bigger and bigger L's, right? When you're wrong on your thesis of whatever the trade setup is, just accept it, right? Move on to the next one. Don't allow one trade to be the end all be all trade for you. Can you explain the perp setup? I don't even know if I did this. I know we talked about BBB. Yeah. There's no like flow or anything that I'm going to talk to you guys about. It wasn't even like the cleanest, you know, daily profile or anything like that. It's just chopping through. It's more of just a, you know, lateral Bitcoin bet. PEPE formula is full on back on the table. I told you guys a couple months ago that I picked up some PEPE spot. It's not a large bag by any means, but the way that I see this one is like it'll probably give me a 5x or something from entry at some point, right? I look at this as like the way SHIB traded last cycle, where it was like the all-star meme for a little bit, and it just gave you one of these, you know, 2-week straight up pumps, like off the lows, complete momentum loss for like a year straight up in one candle. This is really the only move I'm looking for on PEPE, right? This happens, I'm closing it. I'm not perp long on PEPE. I don't really care about it that much. I just wanted to throw some chips somewhere where I think, you know, the RR of the bet or the EV of the bet was extremely in my favor.
He said PEPE formula. Maybe he means the idea of how you longed into like kind of compounded your bag.
Oh, good call.
on
Good
other
call.
coins,
Good
probably
call.
worlds.
Yeah, I didn't recognize he was talking about that, but absolutely. Like, we can take an example here on VVV, right? I'm spot long from the weekly, right? I want to take profits at new all-time highs. If we're at that all-time high region, right? Let's draw this out. Let's do a hypothetical, right? This is our daily trend. It's just chopping around. But let's say the daily trend looks like this, right? Eventually, you know, we tag the daily, you know, we get another bounce, we tag the daily, we get another bounce, we lose the daily. Well, where's the weekly going to be? It's going to be down here. I don't really want to eat this drawdown. This is where I full close or, you know, majority close the spot position to look to compound off the weekly again. If I'm still bullish on this coin for higher highs, I want to take that bet at the weekly again. That's how you can compound bags in a bull market, right? Each one of these drawdowns, what is this going to be? 30%, right? That's 30% more coins you can throw onto your bag for the next leg higher. And each leg is not going to be as dramatic as the last one, right? You're going to have, like, what is this? 10, 20x off the lows. What is this going to end up being? 2, 3x off the lows, right? The next one, maybe even less, is 2x off the lows. But if you can kind of maintain your conviction in the overall thesis and continue adding size to your bags, that's how you get massive compounded winners. That's what you guys have heard me saying that I did on PEPE last cycle. It's just continue maintaining the conviction for those targets and taking the opportunity to add to those bags when I get those corrections. What'd you guys have for breakfast? I haven't had breakfast yet. I think Mag had like yogurt and berries. You know the picture that I sent in Paragon the other day, like the egg white, what are they called? Do you know what those egg white things are called? Like what you had for breakfast this morning? Quiches?
That's what those were.
Okay, yeah, I guess quiches.
How do you not know that?
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. The first time I ever had those were at Starbucks. Like they sell them at Starbucks.
They're great because you just throw them in the oven.
Yeah. Can we look at some alts later? Absolutely. If there's ever a time to look at alts, it's now. Based on the questions in chat, we're clearly going to flush one level lower. I don't know about that.
That's Lucifer.
That's Lucifer? Harry Beaver?
69.
Welcome back, Lucifer. Long time, brother.
Proud of that you lost money? Just keep trolling GP.
What's a trade you're proud of that lost money on? One you're a little ashamed of that made money?
Good question.
Ooh, you're gonna make me think here. Trade that I'm proud of that lost me money. Okay, well, I don't have an immediate example that comes to my mind, but the way that I judge myself on any learning experience, like most recently with intraday trading, is like I would judge myself on my session by how well I stuck to my plans, right? I wake up in the morning, I create the context for myself, either the reversion environment, momentum environment, this is, who's pushing price, how do things look, what levels are nearby, what are my plans for the day, right? And if I take a trade based on my plans and I get the trigger and I'm wrong and I lose money in that trade, I'm not upset at myself, right? Because I stuck to my gut, like that's what I wanted to trade. But on the opposite side, if I completely abandon my plans and I trade like a jackass and I say, let me front run my level, I'm just gonna get a little bit of exposure, right? And price nukes below it, right? And I'm underwater, but my position size is small and I'm not gonna invalidate myself because I'm like, oh, it's a small position and I just hold it and then it reverses and then I'm in profit and then I close it for a win, but I close it for a win on small size because I never added to it. All of these junky, terrible decisions that I'm making throughout the trade, yes, I may leave the day a winner, but I'm not proud of the way that I traded that day, right? I've just made so many self-enforced errors that put me in a worse spot, right? From the front running to the not invalidating myself to the not getting size on the trade, like all of these things are what annoy me. I wish I had like some high time frame kind of like positional ideas for you guys in terms of, stupid things I've done that have made me money, but nothing's coming to my mind right now. If I think of something, I'll mention it. Yeah, go for it.
I'm not super sure what I would say on the one that I lost money. Maybe there's been a few examples where I had a really good thesis and just didn't find something to invest in or just was a pussy and didn't invest. Some things like being bullish on online casinos in 2023. I've had a bunch of things where I had the idea right and just made nothing from it. I don't really have any good examples where I lost money on a good trade though. I have a good example though of where I made money on not a great trade, which would probably be Metaverse in 2021. I don't really think that I was super deserving of that win, but it worked out anyways. So I think I tailed some of my friends on that one and didn't really have my own thesis built out that well. But so yeah, I mean, I think back on that a lot of times, and I feel like that's out of some of my bigger trades in my career. I don't really feel like I deserve the win from that one.
That's a good take. What are your favorite things to do IRL together? We'll find out. We got a fun trip planned. We're going to Miami. We're going to New York. So we'll see some stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Already been fun so far. We watched Lanterns last night. I don't even remember that. Like second half of the second episode. That's kind of zoning in and out. Magus knows his shit 100%. You two giggle like two cheerleaders in a dorm. I'll take that as a compliment. No one happier than two cheerleaders in a dorm. Another one, Doc. Curious on your perspective. How do you decide you're done trading for the day? Is it a number of feeling or behavior you catch yourself doing? Usually I come into the day, so like I'll prepare before New York session, hour or two before New York session, and you know, understand what kind of trades I'm looking for in the day. If they set up, I'll take them. If they don't, maybe there's some like adjustments I can make, right? Oh, got my read wrong. It's a momentum day. Let's look to trade strength, right? For example, where's the best place for me to enter? Okay, this looks good. Let me take the trade. And then I'm kind of done. Like I don't really try to force multiple trades on a day. Usually my day looks like, let me try to take the one best trade available in the first half of New York session. And then I just kind of go on with my life. I'm not really a high volume trader, right? I'm not taking 10 trades a day or 5 trades a day. Like a high volume day for me is like 3 trades. Right? Like Nelly's in chat, he can tell you probably autistically remember when the last time I took 5 trades in a day was. I think it's been some time. But yeah, pretty much for me, it's just, you know, how do I prepare for New York session? What kind of trade should I look for? Once I've executed on those, whether they set up or they don't, I'm kind of just done. I don't really just stick around, you know, 12 hours a day anymore. Do you compound from daily to weekly trend, or do you ever rebuy at 3-day? I never buy at 3-day. I don't really use 3-day too much. Would you look at Bitcoin to hold the 15-minute trend since it broke out of its range once again? I think that is a valid look, because so we talk about the ABCs of trends, right? The most dominant trend that takes you on the first leg, when it breaks, we look for the ABCs. A being range, B being reversal, and C being reclaim continuation. I always mention to you guys that reclaim continuation is on the list for a reason, because it does happen, but it's not going to be the number one bet. In a environment like this, it becomes one of the number one bets, right? This is one that I regretted not being active for, right? It's like Sunday morning, 1 a.m. my time. I was not awake, but that is a very clean and cut, you know, pullback to get over a weekend to look for comp reclaims. So from here, like, should we bet on the 15-minute trend once again? I think that's a valid take, because oftentimes the trend that carries you on the first leg will carry in the second leg into the next kind of momentum loss or distribution. The other take you could have is just zooming out to the 4-hour, right? Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, the 4-hour has been clean for 3 weeks in a row, right? This little dip right here on Sunday was confluent with that. My take this morning in Paragon is if we break through the all-time high anchored VWAP, we'll probably make it to 367-day rolling. So I think if you want to play this momentum off the 15-minute trend, to be my guest. Lucifer and Sylve should collab. In your last stream, you told us the best EV bet for gold is to range bound. Where's the invalidation for you? And can you go over it? Can it go again to all-time high? I do remember looking at gold. Yeah, this was the plan that I doodled here for gold, is trade down to this wick that it had and look for a range bound environment. So my take is here is very simple, is like, if you're long gold from these lows as a trade, you want to pay yourself at the premium, right? If you're looking at this as an asset that you just want to own and you just don't give a fuck, right? Then just hold through the volatility. If it pulls back, it pulls back. But from a pure trader perspective, I think the high EV exit is coming up towards these highs, right? If you're just looking at this from a trade perspective, the worst thing you could do as a trader, right, is just change your plans mid-plan. Is just say like, no, it looks so good. It looks so strong. Why would it stop here, right? Why would it stop here? I'm not going to take any profits. I'm going to extend my targets to all-time high. And if something like this happens where it tags here and it pulls back, you're going to start pissing yourself off and be like, why didn't I take profits here? Why didn't I do this? Why did I do that? Let me just close down at this pullback, right? Let me pay myself something. I don't want to fully round trip. And guess what happens, right? It'll bottom here and then it'll go higher. And then you close at a local low, right? All of these problems just snowball, right? When you lose your discipline, one bad decision leads to another bad decision leads to another bad one, right? So that's my take on that. Do I think it'll go back to all-time high? Absolutely. It's gold, right? It's you know, it's hard money at the end of the day. It'll just keep trending up. I'm not going to try to predict to you guys whether it's going to do a 10-year, you know, range again, or if it's just going to continue trending. I can't predict that. I'm not a macro guy. I'm not going to be the one that LARPs and tells you, you know, metals are good now and this is good now and then, you know, semiconductors are good now. That's not where my edge is in markets. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, thanks for the questions, JP. You've been asking a lot of good questions lately. I appreciate it. Sauna session with Mag later? We could definitely do that.
Going outside is basically a fucking something.
It's hot as fuck, yeah. What evidence would actually convince you that your system has stopped working, both low time frame and high time frame? There'll always be warning signs. There'll always be adjustments across the way, right? Like the pure EMA meta that I was trading in 2023 carried on into 2024, and then late 2024 and all of 2025 was not a great EMA year, right? So you'll always have like little bits of warning signs where you're taking your S tier, A tier, B tier setups, and they're starting to fail more often than they succeed. But what I like to say, like for traders, like the market is going to do one of two things. It's either going to range or it's going to trend, right? You guys should have like a quiver full of setups for a range bound market and a quiver full of setups for a trending market, right? They're not going to overlap too well, right? You start trading a range bound market with trending strats, you're going to fail. You start trading a trending market with range bound strats, you're probably going to take, you know, 1-2R wins and leave, you know, 20R on the table.
I think the way that you asked the question too, you specified systems and no, you didn't say setups anywhere in there. So I wanted to say that I think you guys should have the idea of a system or a framework is like the bigger picture, and then the setups, you know, are underneath that family tree. I don't think your framework or your system should really stop working all that often. If all of a sudden your system feels like it's not working, and there's probably something fundamentally wrong with it, your setups, that's different. Where setups work sometimes and they don't, and other times you need to make adjustments. But if you feel like your framework that tells you I should be trading a range right now, or I should be trading a trend right now, if that stuff is, you know, those kind of big picture concepts are wrong, then you need to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what you need to make a change from the top down on. Because genuinely, I don't think that my like trading framework, since I built it in 2020, has ever stopped working. It's just required adjustments to the setups and maybe adjustments to how I do things, but it's all the same conceptually.
Take a look at lit. Sure. All right. Not a coin that I've really cared about, traded, or anything. I don't think I've taken any lit trades, to be honest. But let's take a scan. All right, so downtrend, momentum loss, fresh new uptrend. Most of this uptrend was carried off the daily trend into another range, right? So when you're looking at range, you look at range bound, you know, break stretch, which is, can we get expansion through range high? Are we going to get strong flows through range high? Are we carried by any trend along this? So like we can go down to lower time frames and say, are there any trends that are carrying us very well through this range high? I think the best one right now is the 4-hour trend, right? So I think you just hang your hat on this and look for dips in the 4-hour trend to play trend continuation. As it pulls back here again, this is a very fat region, but this is where you're going to be wanting to look to dial in setups. Once again, as we trade back into the 4-hour trend, is there anything that I can look for that can get me on the bullish side of the trade? If you guys are low time frame traders, maybe you can, dial this down to previous week's, value area high or something like that, which is 313. I'm pretty sure 313 would fit within the context of this as well, right? That'd be kind of the lower end, but that's the way you want to look at this, right? You don't want to scare yourself and say, oh, it's been bleeding for like a day and a half. It was a strong coin. Now it's a weak coin. You just kind of hang your hat on the high EV setups in a strong environment. They are going to fail eventually. You are going to lose the trend eventually, right? But if you're kind of disciplined into an EMA strat or a trend strat or any kind of momentum-based strat, you just hang your hat on it until it fails. So that's really my only take on lit. What I am more bullish on is kind of variational, because like lit has been popping off, right? Like this has been strong for a long time now, since May. Hyperliquid's been strong kind of the entire bear market, right? I think that does wonders for the valuation of something like a variational when it drops. I'm kind of hopeful that works out for us. What separates a framework from setups? Frameworks are basically like the tools that you use to analyze the market, right? So your framework could be, I would just call it like it's a system, right? Your framework's probably another just fancy word for system. Yeah. So yeah, setups are how you're gonna actually execute trades within the context of your framework, right? So if your framework is trend following and EMAs, what setups are you using to get into those trades using an EMA framework? If you want a good framework or system, Paragon has plenty of systems you can emulate. Yeah, facts. There are tons. Let's check. I'm gonna check Twitter if there's anything in here. Any questions? Bitcoin reacting to yearly deviation of band, is that credible or not? We haven't pulled up the Bitcoin yearly. We can do that now. So the two frameworks that I like on the Bitcoin yearly are obviously the developing values and the 2024 values, right? I've been using the 2024 values since 2024 because they've been goated for me, right? The dip that we got on the Terra flows was the 2024 highs, right? That provided great context for me to get back into longs or be bullish locally, right? We know how we nailed this one. That was super fun. Going into 2026, I kind of used the same thing. I was like, well, if we drop below the 2024 value area high, we'll probably go to the 2024 VWAP, right? If we're holding below the 2024 VWAP, that opens the door for 2024 value area low. What we got here instead was momentum loss. When we broke back above the 2024 VWAP, look at the move that we made. Just pure single-sided move from these two levels. Where are we trading now? 2026 value area high, right? Confluent kind of locally with the 365-day rolling. Confluent with 2024 value area high. This is definitely a sticking point. Can we crab around here? Can we distribute here? How is this going to look? That's anyone's guess, right? I think the smartest thing for you to do right now is to make two plans, right? One is, if you're an active trader, how are you going to trade today? What is the context for today? Who's driving force today? How can I get into good setups today? If you're looking for swing trades, make plans for dip buys. If you don't get dip buys and we continue having momentum, make sure you have plans to continue trading momentum so you're not just sidelined. But yeah, I agree. This is resistance. Paid actor. 606 and I want 30K. I hope it works out for us. TX Flow, heard of it? I have. I think Charlie just partnered with them. I think he's a fan of the transaction flow team. I don't even know if that's called in my brain. TX just means transaction. Curious about what's the smartest thing you ever did that looked stupid at the time. I have the easiest answer for that. The stupidest thing that looked smart. I don't know the second half. The easiest answer to the first one was the smartest thing I ever did was change my career path from medicine to trading. That sounded stupid to a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of like support. Like my parents and family supported me, but they were like, they're very nervous about the decision. You're kind of wasting away multiple years of education to chase something else that majority of people fail at, right? So it sounded stupid to a lot of people, had me doubting myself, and I lived with imposter syndrome as a trader. I was actually just talking to Magus about this recently. It's like I had a lot of imposter syndrome with my trading for a very long time until basically last year. And obviously it was a smart decision. What's the stupidest thing that looked smart, man? I don't have any things that, do you have anything for that?
I don't know, man. There's been some bad trades, but it's hard to remember them all.
Yeah, I agree. A recent one is just, I wanted a position on Google off the weekly trend over here, right? And completely whiffed on this. It felt smart because I felt like I was, hanging my hat on the system on the weekly trends. I failed to recognize, where is the NAS? Right? This was a good enough for correction off the NAS for me to want a position into Google, right? Like thinking Google was going to come lower is asking NAS to trade lower. And I think I could have just, bit the bullet and bought higher. It's Google. Who the fuck cares? This wasn't like an options trade or anything. I just wanted to buy some shares of Google in my retirement account, right? So being super greedy here, it felt like I was doing the smart thing, waiting for the systematic approach, but it ended up being really stupid because I'm mid-curving it. It's like you want good assets at a discount, right? Don't be super greedy. Just buy the fucking winners when they're on a discount and don't just, hyper fixate on your imaginary lines. I guess it's a big difference with something like a Google versus like some random altcoin. I would not apply this same logic to some bullshit altcoin. If I miss on an altcoin because of this, I'm not going to feel stupid. But if it's Google, right, you feel pretty stupid about it. Are you still rich and investing full time? I don't know what the definition of rich is anymore, to be honest. When I was a kid, I'm sure you'll agree to this. Like when we were kids, being a millionaire was like, holy fuck, like you're rich as shit. And I think nowadays, like having $1 million or being a millionaire, you kind of don't feel rich anymore. You kind of just feel like middle class at best. So yeah, I don't know how to say it other than that. You and Mags get a nice workout in together. Do you want to work out while you're here? I have a gym nearby that I go to when Livid bullies me enough. Can we look at AKT? Yeah. I actually have a bag of AKT. I'm pretty sure I'm just break even on this. This is a borrowed, this is where I entered on AKT, this orange circle. This is a borrowed conviction trade from one of my friends that's very bullish on AKT that has nailed a lot of altcoins last cycle from a fundamental perspective. He's early to a lot of coins. He's early to a lot of narratives. And him being bullish on this one was enough for me to just say, hey, I'm just going to throw some coins into it. But it's still an accumulation. It's not trending. It's not broken out. It's just crabbing. And this blue doodle that I drew here is kind of more or less what I'm expecting. When we pumped the last time, right, this was up like 60, 70%. There's definitely the trader part of me that wanted to take profits, but I said to myself, look, you're just buying this to store some capital, store some cash, and look to sell it into momentum, right? I don't really want to sell it in accumulation. I don't really feel like micromanaging and trading the range. I'd rather just, one bang, it's sitting in the, it's sitting in the wallet, let it chill there. When we get a explosive rally, then I will look to take profits on this one. But for now, it's just range bound, right? You're sitting at discount. It's one of the weaker coins in the market. It's not respecting the market the way, it's not respecting the strength that we have across the market. So it is really just a dud, right? As of this moment, like I'm not going to be shilling it to anyone. It's a dud. It's trading like a dud. And I'd be happy to get a move like this to sell into. And if not, and it starts bleeding below this range, I will cut it. I'm not going to hold this for, a bleed. I've been using 2004 since 2004. There's the S tier analysis you can expect from the Paragon. Beautiful, beautiful. There's a lot of fucking words that I had to use when talking about the 2024 VWAP, the 2026 developing, this value area high, value area low, dude. It all sounds like gibberish once you become kind of self-aware of it. When you're learning this stuff, you feel very intelligent, name dropping stuff like that. And the more experience you get, the more silly everything just fucking sounds.
Nelly, we're gonna come up in your stream here soon and micromanage every word you say. Every time you say theoretically, I'm spamming it in the chat.
I don't think I've seen you take many trades when price deviates daily VWAP and reclaims it. Is that one of your setups? Not really. I don't have a big bag of trades where I'm taking them at the mean, right? I like trading extremities of price. I don't really love taking a lot of daily VWAP trades, but a day like today makes a huge amount of sense to take daily VWAP trades because you're in a momentum environment. You're trying to break out of the weekend comp. You're getting a flush off New York Open into a very clean level. I think the daily VWAP was already starting to curve up a little bit. Yeah. So we were already trading way away from like the Asia comp, right? So a big pullback in the daily VWAP is like a no-brainer. The question that you asked though was like a deviation reclaim, right? I don't really focus on this. I think if anything, if there's like some level of confluence here for me, I would take that trade, right? If there's like a weekly value area high, if there's a trend, if there's something, some level of confluence, then maybe I'll execute. But otherwise, I don't take a lot of trades like kind of in no man's land between levels.
I actually love this setup, Azale. I send this on intraday a lot. Caveat here that he already hit on is that you have to have a clear momentum day. If you have even a slight bit of momentum loss, and this is a terrible setup. But I would just basically argue that when you buy it, in this exact example on the screen, when you buy it slightly below the VWAP, you're just getting a fucking cheaper price for the same exact type of trade. So it just makes the probabilities are probably roughly the same, but the risk to reward is better for you. So the expected value is slightly better. So it's basically the same trade as a VWAP retest. And you can just imagine that some guy screwed up and puked a big long, right? I've put out a bunch of videos and tweets on this over the years, right? But you have a level marked out on your chart, and if it goes a little bit below it or it front runs it a little bit, does that mean your level didn't matter? You can't anticipate how much buying or sell pressure is going to come into these levels. So if some guy just happens to sell a little bit of extra, positioning below the VWAP, and then you get to buy it, that might just be a better version of the same trade you were looking for to begin with.
Everything is resistance until you get above it. Hell yeah, dude. There's a life philosophy there.
That's a good one about volatility.
Volatility has gone up the past week. How should we adjust to it? Reduce position size for a wider stop loss. Keep sending trades to learn how to time, or keep sending trades to learn how to time entries perfectly. What I've been doing is widening stops tremendously. Like I'm allowing myself the kind of room for error. So like if I'm trading Bitcoin just like 2 weeks ago and our daily ranges are like 500 points or maybe like 800 points on the day, like having 100, 200 point invalidations makes a lot of sense. When we're trading 2-3K every day, having a 200 point stop makes almost no sense, right? So you have to account for volatility for your trades 100%. You're getting more upside. You have to account for more downside. Now, if that doesn't fit, like, you know me, I think is this, because your profile picture looks very familiar, but your name has changed. Black Citadel. Are you OX69? Yeah. Yeah. So you're familiar with how I trade. I trade fixed size. I'm still trading fixed size right now. Like I've just allowed myself, the same position size that I always trade. I'm just not invalidating myself so close because I understand that volatility has expanded in a big way. But if it doesn't fix your risk like profile and you don't want to take bigger losses in terms for bigger wins, then yeah, you can size down just a little bit to fit your risk. Another question I prepared for the stream. Would love to hear Magus's view as well. What's the best advice you ever ignored and the worst advice you ever followed? Dude, this is gonna come back to the 6 months joke, isn't it? I think Magus has given me a lot of good advice as far as like financial management. It's not always like trades and stuff like that. It's always just like how to deal with asset diversity, how to position yourself as a long-term investor, how to diversify out of crypto and put some money in the stock market. So one of the things that I faded this past bear market is I was super comfy in cash, right? Like after selling 2024, I became pure trader mode in 2025. And basically the entire year going into this year, we'll just talk about last year, I was just comfortable in cash, right? I'd never seen numbers like that. I'd never seen commas like that. I just wanted to protect that cash, and I was not risk accepting to even put it in the S&P 500, right? Because in my brain, I'm like, well, if I put in the S&P and the S&P has correction, I'm just killing my cash flow, or I'm killing the chips that I have available to bet on something that I don't even want to own, to, you know, ultimately get less of what I do want to own. What I do want to own is Bitcoin, right? Obviously that worked out like, you know, the opposite of that I expected. Everything went up, Google flying, you know, all the stocks flying, the indexes flying. I think the indexes are up like 20% since I sold, you know, all my crypto, right? So that could have been a 20% passive gain for me, just putting in the stock market, like not even doing anything. So, you know, like a lot of things that MAGA says to me, that is friendly and even like mentor advice on like, hey, this is, you know, I've been in your shoes before a couple years ago. These are the things that I learned. This is what you should be doing now. I'm the type of guy that wants to learn my lessons, you know, my own way, right? We have this funny inside joke where he says, well, come back to me in 6 months, you'll understand. So that probably answers that part of the question. And the worst advice you ever followed, the simple answer here is borrowed conviction trades, right? Like the AKT trade, right? Anytime I borrow conviction in someone else's trade ideas, it doesn't often work out for me. Even when it works out for me, I'm not sized appropriately to someone else's conviction, right? That's just, you know, market advice that doesn't generally work out for me. Like, I need to build my own conviction in the trades that I take and the positions that I take. And if I ever copy trade someone or take a lateral position, if it works out, my position's too small. And if it doesn't work out, I'm just like, well, why did I listen to someone else anyways? He wants your perspective on that one too.
I'm trying to think. I don't really know what I want to say here.
Honestly, like the first thing that comes to mind with this question is really going to be kind of in line with what he was just saying, right? When you're getting your introduction stage into financial markets and you hear comments about outperforming the indexes and all these kind of things, and you think that you have to be this guy that just like has these gross levels of outperformance all the time. And I think nowadays I have a little bit of a different perspective on it. And you should be seeking to outperform, but your goal is outperform and then put it in those things that don't outperform after you're done with it. If that makes any sense, right? So like example, if you like actually do well in crypto over the course of 2 years, then you know you actually invest it into safe things like Bitcoin or the SPX. I don't know if we're at that point in 2026 where we call Bitcoin safe. It's moving in that direction. Maybe it's not quite safe just yet, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have a really good response for this question, to be honest. If I like put a lot of thought into it, I'm sure I could come up with something. Always take into account, guys, that like I've taken so many trades, I can't remember everything. It's not like I have like journals in front of me where I can like trigger, you know, a memory or something like that. I'm just sitting here. So what's the second part of the question about?
The worst advice you ever followed?
I mean, that's like they're basically the same answer. I guess maybe I kind of already answered that one, right? Like maybe one thing I could say about some bad advice that I followed was when I quit my job in 2020 and started trading full time for the first time in my life. I had already had a lot of trading experience, but I had never like, you know, woken up and had like all day long to trade. My expectations of how good my day trading was going to go, I think that's probably something I could tie into this conversation. So there's probably plenty of instances where either somebody told me they did really well or something made me think that I could do incredibly well in a short period of time. I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you think that you're just going to have these incredible runs in a month span and change your life, right? It's just not really mathematically, the probabilities aren't in your favor. But if you have the like, you know, people are tired of hearing me say the tortoise and the hare analogy all the time. If you actually can just go slow and steady instead of saying I got to make it in 5 months, I'm going to make it in 5 years, your outcomes have a much better chance of, you know, working out in your favor. So it's not really the answer you wanted, but it's what I got for you.
If there's a bunch of noise from me moving the mic around, guys, I'm sorry. Magus at Dog's house? Yeah. We're hanging out for a little bit. Oh, did you buy any Circle? Remember you speculating? Yeah, I did. I put 40%, no more. I put 50%, pretty much of my port into Circle already. Cost base is pretty good. I am coping though, that I don't have the full position size on that I want. Like I kind of bought this local high here first. Like we were rounding off or we're having this, and then it had like a random pump in this location, and I bought into this candle. So that was my first entry, but I really just, wanted to maintain the idea that we had more time. So let me, build this bag slowly. And almost like a week later, we were down here, and I just looked at the entirety of this thing and I was like, I just need to bite the bullet and buy a big size bag. So I have like 50% of my account into Circle already, and I have 50% sitting in cash. And I was actually talking to Mag about this earlier this morning of like, how do I get the rest of my money in? Because the way that I see Circle, like I'm looking to sell up here, right? And I don't think it really matters too much if I'm buying at 90 or buying at 60 or buying at whatever. Like, yeah, it will matter for the returns. But at the end of the day, will I be more upset, right? This is how I think about and make decisions. If we go to $300 and I only got 50% of the position size, how am I going to feel, right? Conversely, if I bought, added more at this local high, let's say, I buy right here and it pulls back 30%, right? And I say to myself, wow, Doc, you're so stupid. You could have, waited a little bit, right? But I get the position size and we go to 300. How am I feeling, right? Short term, I feel like shit. Long term, I feel fine. So I think what the approach that I'll take is a little bit of a hybrid approach. I'll probably just continue buying Circle as it's cheap relative to where I think it should go. I'm just looking at this as a stock market altcoin, right? I'm just literally looking at it as an altcoin, and I think it's the only place to kind of bet on stable coins in a kind of respectable manner. I'm not a big XPL guy, although I did kind of crush that first weekend when it TG'd. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably just taking a hybrid approach here. I'll probably add some of the position, leave room for lower. If I'm not going to get a lower price, probably just continue stack chips in a Circle. But I'm happy with the kind of initial position that I built on this one. We did nail the bottom here. I actually did end up buying some MicroStrategy too, guys. Like, I don't have a big bag of MicroStrategy, but when we broke out, I added some to MicroStrategy. We actually clowned the Sailor Futters for this one. I remember posting the MicroStrategy chart down here, and I was like, this is where everyone became Sailor experts, noted. And then just track this, like full pure momentum loss below these lows, like triple stacked lows. Did it lead to a trending move down? No, it just completely flatlined and became momentum loss. When we started getting the move above this, I bought a small MicroStrategy bag. Right, so we'll see how this turns out. What's your total portfolio return on the year? How much percentage gains roughly do you have to do per year to be comfortable? Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm probably like from 2021, basically when I entered markets, till the end of 2024, where I cashed out bigly, I did a 200x return on capital. That is accounting for yearly taxes deducted for the years in between. This year, the way to say it is difficult because most of my cash was just reserved for buying spot Bitcoin, and that's what it's been doing. The perp accounts, whatever money I'm running up on the month, right? Sometimes I'll actually drain the account and put it into spot, but most of the other times I'm like, I made X amount of money this month. That's the amount of my cash that I'm putting into spot Bitcoin, right? That's how I've been doing it this year. So we could look at it from a total net worth growth for this year. We could look at it as a investable capital growth. We could look at it as a pure perp trading account growth, right? I think the easiest one to answer is just the perp trading account. So I think, one of my accounts was like 150% over 4 months or 5 months. And that's with taking a full month in May off, right? So maybe like 4-month growth was like 150%. There's been other accounts this year, like my Bybit swing account, that's up like 2.5x off of just 2 swings that I took, or 3 swings I think I took in that account only. Because those are much bigger moves, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 point moves on Bitcoin. But the perp accounts have been cooking. The spot account's not up a lot. Like the majority of my money is in spot Bitcoin. I think my entry is up 20, 25% or something like that. So that's pretty much the growth on that account. minus the stables that I still have. From a fellow doc here, what specialty were you in, and what did Magus do before his trading career? I'll let him answer that. But so when I started trading, I was in my internship year. I had finished med school and I was studying for boards. And I was half-assed, like I was doing my board exams and also kind of like teaching myself to trade as a hobby. When I finished my board exams and it was time to apply for the match and residency, the programs that I was looking for were emergency medicine specialized. That was what was most intriguing to me. So I didn't specialize, right? I didn't even do residency. I was supposed to apply for the match for 2023. Going into end of 2022 when it was interview season, I bailed. Like I didn't do any of my interviews. I was like, I just want to trade, because end of 2022 is when I first saw some consistent success. I had 6 months in a row of consistently profitable success, and I was like, I'm not trying to go do residency now for the next 3 years and kind of miss the bull market. So someone asked me earlier what was a good decision that I made that sounded stupid. That was the one. But yeah, emergency medicine, man. You want to answer the question what you did before trading?
I was going to school for a while, and then I dropped out of school because I didn't want to finish, and I didn't I was going into a science career and I didn't really want to commit that way. So I just hopped from shitty job to shitty job, any opportunity I could get, until I got a decent corporate sales job, and then I worked there for 3 years while I was saving and getting all the background stuff in order to trade full time. So I think it was the process to go full time probably took about 4 years total, maybe 3. And yeah, I quit in February of 2020. So it's been quite a long time now, which is crazy to say out loud. It's been well over 6 years now. It's just crazy.
Time flies, dude. I can't believe it's been over 3 years since I first talked to you now. Hasn't that, time's fucking flying. I just realized how far behind I am on chat. I didn't realize. Sometimes I type questions and I delete them because I realize.
This one. That's it. From 0 IQ, that's great. If you're asking a question and then realizing that you know the answer in real time like that, that's great, man. So keep moving in that direction.
What are you working on? You're trading right now. Is there any current weakness you're trying to fix? Sizing? Yeah, I talk about this a lot. I'm very public on it, that I'm a very slow mover when it comes to sizing up. So that was a big goal for me in 2025. And I got to kind of a position size that I'm just comfortable with, right? And I'm not going to continue pushing it immediately, right? So I'm just very comfortable in my trading right now. I think the only thing that I can improve on is probably a little bit of complacency, because I went from 18 hours a day at the charts to kind of lock in and clock out, and that lifestyle is so good, guys. To be able to wake up, prepare for markets, trade markets, and then just go fucking do whatever I want. Play video games, hang out with the wife, do whatever I want for the rest of the day, lock in again the next day. That life has been phenomenal, but it has bred some sense of complacency where I'm like, I could be trading more. I could be waking up. This past Sunday, actually it was Friday night and then it was Saturday night. We had 2 pukes that came at 1 a.m. my time. If this was 2023 or 2024 or 2022, I'm up for those. Right now, I slept through both of them. Was not prepared, didn't set alerts, woke up in the morning, felt like shit for maybe 10 minutes and then went on with my day. So definitely probably just right now, it's kind of I could take more advantage of the current market, which I will in about 10 days when our vacation's over. Black Citadel is Takashi. Yeah, I just realized I'm super far back in chat. I will try to catch up. Will do. Harry Beaver 69. Will do. If I missed a question that you guys want to answer, just ask again. I'm going to try to scroll through. Can you talk about when you were making progress, but you didn't feel like you arrived yet? What did that feel like, and how long was that period for you? Bro, that was multiple years, man. I made consistent progress in my trading from the day I started until like today, right? And I think I held on to imposter syndrome all the way until last year. Last year was the first time where I felt like confident and comfortable and calm of like, no, I could really do this shit. Like, I'm him, you know? Before that, it was spurts of overconfidence into, wait a minute, like, it's just the market that carried you. Wait a minute, you just got lucky. Like, I would always downplay anything that I did, you know, not allowing myself to, like, I would have moments of extreme ego, right? Who doesn't, right? You hit a good trade, you feel like you're the fucking man. Some time passes and you just go, you know, things just worked out. I could, you know, I'm not as good as I think I am. There's levels to this game, but yeah, I held on to that for a very long time, man. Advice for people in that part of their journey now. I don't really think I have any advice, man. I think everyone's different. You know, if it takes you a long time to get over it, maybe you're more like me. Maybe you can get over it quicker. But you know, at the end of the day, judge yourself based on your progress. Don't judge yourself based on what other people are doing, how much money they're making, what trades they're hitting. You know, just judge your own progress. If you're moving in the right direction, be proud of yourself. That's it. What's your preferred method for fading a parabolic price discovery move, waiting for a God candle to short, market entering upon low time frame break, or watching for something else? It's either going to be a flow-based argument based on, you know, since we're in an uptrend, it's going to be demand side exhaustion, or even the beginning of the tables turning in terms of more supply coming in the market, like spot profit taking. Or it's going to be an EMA argument if an hourly trend carries you for 100% move. When that breaks, it's fucking over. One of the examples that I loved sharing, I think last year, was like Bonk. I use this as a teaching example a lot. Is, well, let's see if we can even find it. I think it's this move right here. There was some resistance level here. I think it's on the weekly. Right, so let's just draw this, right? Look at where Bonk distributed every time. Every time it gets to 35, so we're going to call it 35 cents, too many zeros. Every time it gets here, it distributes, right? This is the one breakout that failed. This is the rally in question, so I'm going to zoom in on this one. What is the most dominant trend that carried you here? 4-hour trend. It carried you for a 187% move. What happens when that trend is lost at resistance? ABCs. Number 1, range. Number 2, reversal. Number 3, reclaim and continuation. This build out to comp and broke down. Where is that going to go? Probably reverse, right? So very simple ways to fade strength. Just, you need patience. Does the market cap of the asset influence your approach? Yes, definitely. Definitely will change targets, definitely will change sizing, invalidations, everything, 100%. Sub 2, Doc is in 6K hell. I have been in 6K hell for a year. If you guys aren't subbed to the stream, hit the sub, please. You can always unsub later if you decide you hate me. Are you supposed to shout out the sponsor at some point? You are right, Nelly. Look at this guy, the greatest intern of all time, bro. I kind of got lost on that sauce there, but yeah, Kalshi is the new stream sponsor. I think you guys are all well aware of Kalshi. They have a crypto trading platform that you guys are probably not aware of, right? Everyone that thinks of Kalshi thinks of prediction markets. Now, do you guys remember? I think this is probably something in the industry that people are not supposed to do, but I'm going to do it anyways. Do you guys remember last year when Magus and I were sponsored by Coinbase, right? What was the thing that I continued repeating to you guys? It was like, yeah, I think I'm very bullish on Coinbase having a PERP product for US citizens, but they do not have the liquidity for us to trade, right? Their liquidity is too shit. It's like impossible to get in and out of trades. It's possible to get sizes in there. You want to trade one Bitcoin, you're getting slipped like $500, right? It's not good enough, right? They need to improve before I can, you know, with my chest out, say I'm trading on Coinbase. And that was one of the goals. Like, I wanted to be on there and move my PERP volume there. Why not? Why not have them create the tax documents for me, right? Why not trade on a CTFC regulated exchange? Well, the beauty now is Kalshi has the same product. They have US-based perps and they have liquidity, which is fucking amazing, right? Like, you can trade perps as a US citizen without moving your money to Hyperliquid, without using a VPN. You can trade it on a US regulated exchange, which is phenomenal. So, you know, the more time I have with them, like, I'm very busy this week, but I will show you guys, I'm going to move some of my money there myself. I will be trading on Kalshi myself. And if you guys want to support me and support the stream, whenever I do post a ref link. If you guys just want to sign up and try it out, you know, that would mean the world to me, right? Like, I'm doing these streams for free, basically. Like, I'm doing them just to help you guys. If you ever want to, you know, support me in any way, like, signing up there is the best way to do it, right? Costs you guys nothing, right? Just simple sign up and tinker around with it, and hopefully you guys will be pleasantly surprised. I'm not gonna lie, when I was talking to the homie at Kalshi, and he was running me through the exchange, like, I expected another illiquid exchange, and seeing 15 Bitcoin on each side of the spread was super sick. Like, I was like, holy fuck, this is not what I expected. So, you know, very hopeful, and that actually made me bullish on them, and that's a big reason why I even accepted the sponsors. Like, I can actually shill this without having a guilty conscience. Nelly, you spam a lot during streams. Let's go, Bender. Do you know the meme of the guy calling Nelly out for spamming during my streams? There's a dude that, like, Nelly posted my stream on Twitter, and some dude's like, Nelly, I hope you don't spam the stream again. Like, Nelly, you spammed way too much last stream. Thank you, Nelly. I actually came a little bit underprepared, but shout out Kalshi. I will run you guys through the exchange and how to get it set up and everything when I get back from vacation. We're gonna lock in on that.
You're not happy you didn't tweet when you went live. I didn't though.
Oh shit, I
never tweeted.
didn't.
That's probably why there was so few people.
Yeah, I forgot. Bro, we were just having a coffee in the other room, and Mag's like, is it time? I looked at the time, and it was like 3 minutes to 11. I was like, oh fuck, let's get going. Mag is rich, that's why he doesn't care about airdrops. Mag's too lazy to care about airdrops. That's the real answer.
Who said that?
Elixir? Elixir Co?
Crazy.
Paragon 5-year anniversary coming in October? Has it been 5 years?
No, 6.
6, right? Yeah, 2020 is when you
Who
started.
said that? Was that Lear?
No, JP.
6. You're better know our anniversary.
Lear doesn't know. Lear said Paragon 5 years soon too.
No.
Yeah.
I'm retarded. It's okay.
Did you risk 1% per trade setups on perp in 2023, 2024? Absolutely not. No. I don't abide by that strategy at all. I think that's like training wheels for markets, right? Risking 1% per trade is just to get you comfortable with trading so you don't blow up your account. It's a method to get you enough reps. But think of it this way, guys. Like, let me make it the most logical answer. If you have $100,000 in your account and you are risking $1,000 per trade, what are you doing with that capital? Like, capital's doing, it's just gonna sit there collecting dust forever. You're not even dipping into that capital at all. So there's absolutely no reason to have that much capital sitting in a perp trading account to not be used, right? Especially once you get comfortable and you're like, you have confidence in yourself to be consistently profitable. You're never gonna dip down that low, right? You're not gonna like half your account and then come back. You're not gonna lose 50 trades in a row. That's just, statistically not going to happen to you once you've developed an edge in the market. So I don't abide by that at all. I'll risk 5, 10, 15, 50% of the account on a trade depending on how much capital is in the perp account, right? My whole net worth is not sitting in a perp account. It's always going to be a small amount compared to my spot stack. Mag's just giggling over here, man. What are you guys saying?
I'm reading the chat.
Behind on stream. Shout out my boy Rajput. There you go, man. Raj did cook.
Raj is Mr. Pickle. He just changed his name.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mr. Pickle's my goat.
That's funny if Nelly that was Pickle the whole time.
He didn't know that.
Are you guys live trading together? No, I kind of wanted to trade when I looked at it this morning. I took a trade in bed. This is the trade that I took this morning. I took this one. This is around the time. I woke up late today. I woke up at like 7 or something like that. I took this dip. I closed like into this pump. That was it. And then I completely whiffed on this and took a VVV trade, which I probably round tripped on stream. Beautiful. Okay, whatever. I don't really care. But Mag does not give a fuck. He's in pure vacation mode, dude. The guy opened his phone like once yesterday. I was like, that can't be me. I gotta be checking prices every 3 hours no matter what. (2021 to 2026) is 5 years, you math monkeys. Lear, I don't want to flame you like this, but that is 6 years. Wait, when did you open it? That's what
October
matters.
2020.
Okay, well, if it's at the end of the year, then okay, it's 5. Because I'm counting like this. 2021 is 1 year, 2022 is second year, 2023, right? So it would be 6 years if you started. This is crazy. My bad, guys. My bad. You probably heard that on stream. How is 2021 to 2026 6 years? Again, just count 2021 itself is the year. You're not subtracting 2026 minus 2021. That's not how calendar works, bro.
I just skip those things in the chat. Pretend like I don't see them.
Do you take 1% risk on portfolio? I do not. I do not believe in 1% risk. You have to have highly concentrated bets to do multiples in your capital.
You got a grinder match, somebody said. That's funny. Actually, yeah, he snitched on himself. He knows what the grinder fucking alert sounds like.
Oh, shit. Self-burn right there, Kaz. That backfired on you. His grinder match is already in his house. You say some parts of your model is mechanical, but for example, the entry, what parts require a cautious amount of discretion? Discretion for me always comes from my ability to read between the lines in terms of when is negative news no longer creating the correct impact on the markets. That's an edge that I always use whenever people talk about relative strength of crypto over stocks. I feel like I have a better read on that than the average pleb on CT that's mocking relative strength. When people talk about, hey, the stock market might have a correction, therefore I need to be bearish on crypto, that's an edge that I have on market. These are all come from experience. That's a discretionary based approach when it comes to my trading or even positioning. Those are clear-cut things that I've proven on track record for 3 years now to have an edge over other participants. When they talk about the tariffs, buying that bottom was an edge, right? All these things come down to negative news, negative headlines, lots of fear, and price not respecting the headlines. It's not trading in tandem. If you think that we're gonna blow up from tariffs, right? And you're just like, oh, the stock market's correcting. And you look at Bitcoin and you're like, okay, the stock market's going down in a straight line like this. Why the fuck is Bitcoin doing that, right? Why is Bitcoin not going down in a straight line? Why is it actually holding here? Why is it holding the 365-day rolling VWAP and the weekly trend? Why is it showing signs of momentum loss? Why is it just running a low and stalling out here? Why is it not puking? These are edges that I have in the market just from continuing to trade these big FUD events and understand when the market is actually strong to the downside versus when it's just absolutely doing nothing, like this one right here. Sailor FUD, war FUD, stock market FUD, all this FUD in the market. What did Bitcoin do besides just going sideways for 2 months, right? Having the guts to position here. Magus absolutely like nailed the Pico bottom here. I long this like 1,000 points higher, right? But having the ability to read between the lines here, that's all discretionary. That's not systematic at all. Is there any comparable VWAP indicator that's close to your Paragon private ones? You can use the TradingView ones. You can use the VWAP that's built into TradingView and set your intervals for whatever interval you want to use. You want to use a daily, set your intervals to daily. You want to use a weekly, set the interval for the VWAP to weekly. You can add the standard deviation bands yourself, right? standard deviation, 2 standard deviation bands. That's in the settings. You can use a trading view one. I think you should apply them on the tick charts for better read. A lot of these chads use tick charts. I used tick charts for a couple months last year, and I didn't see a significant change, but maybe I should have given it more time. I found success without tick charts. A lot of people found an extreme amount of success with tick charts. I know Mag uses tick charts in his trading every single day. Nelly also uses tick charts now. I don't, though. Right? I probably just didn't give it enough time to actually find some, bigger benefit versus what I was already doing without it. Fuck equities indeed, baby. Another one, how do you tell the difference between a trader who's passionate and one who's just addicted? What did that look like in your own life? Very difficult distinction to make, to be honest, right? Obsession can be an addiction. Obsession can be a healthy obsession. It could be a negative obsession. What I did would look like a very unhealthy obsession, which is, not sleeping, dealing with my stress through alcohol for a long time, right? A lot of these things could be considered a very negative, health choice or look like a negative one and just say like he's addicted. But it was positive for me, right? Like I lived, breathed, and slept markets. I was looking for, new edges, new education, looking to refine my stuff, have books of, journals filled with notes all over the place. And to me, like the distinction between something that's a healthy obsession and unhealthy obsession is a very thin line. It's probably just going to be like hindsight, like whether you're successful with what you're doing or unsuccessful,
So
right?
I was going to say that the simple answer for that is probably the outcome.
Yeah.
The inputs are more or less the same, but whether you make it work or you don't determines which one it is, right? Because if you fail or give up or whatever, then everyone's going to define it as an addiction. But if you make it work in the long run, then they'll just call it like a healthy obsession or whatever. But realistically, there's not really any difference between the two.
Yeah.
It's the differences that exist would be entirely personal, like based on you, how you work as a person. Yeah, what we did was an obsession.
Yeah.
Or
I think it would look like, what I did was a very unhealthy obsession, but the mind was in the right place. The heart was in the right place. Can you quickly touch on what was your trigger to enter today's trade on Bitcoin? For me, it looked like long-standing momentum loss overnight. So here's the two things I'm working with. Kind of a shitty trade now. You look at this. What's funny is like just a week ago, having an 800 point move on Bitcoin intraday is so good. And then, 2 weeks later, you're like, what are you doing, you pleb? Not catching 2,000 point moves. Fucking washed. But yeah, this is the context that I woke up to, right? Like over the weekend, I was looking for a range to be built after the 15-minute trend was lost. This is your kind of deviation away from that comp. Reclaim, a long that I took yesterday was off this puke going into, Sunday night. So this morning, I was just basically looking for the comp to hold once again. As I woke up, this is the context is like rounding off, right? Rounding off towards the comp lows, right? You're grinding down into it. You tag the comp lows. You want to look at this from a market structure point of view. You say, took out the high that led to the last low. You're looking for a higher low. You're looking for a higher low. You're looking to play continuation. You hold the lows, you rotate to the highs, right? Simple like AMT. You fail to, bleed away from the comp in one direction. You're naturally going to go to the other side, or like high likelihood that you traded the other side. So failure to break down here naturally leads to comp high targets. This is the kind of move, right, that we kind of traded this morning. Right. This was the move right here. As we traded into the composite value rate high, that was my profit taking. Anything that happened after that is not something that was a part of, but the daily VWAP tag was very, very clean, as we talked about a couple times so far this stream. Oh, tick charts for the calendar VWAP? I've never messed around with that. Have you done that? use tick charts on like weekly VWAPs or daily VWAPs or anything? Yeah.
No, you would have to load a ridiculous. You'd have to be loading fucking 50,000 ticks. I don't think that would work very well.
So all good traders are addicts. I think there's something to be said that like anyone that reaches a certain point of success, so there's going to be some outliers. We were talking about this morning, like Nick Kyrgios, a tennis player that has all the talent in the world, like God-given talent. The guy did not work hard. He's like always tells people openly that, you know, he just got lucky, like he's really good. He didn't work for it. But everyone else kind of has a moment in their life where they're sacrificing everything. You know, friends, family, hobbies, girls, whatever it may be, you know, parties, and you're just locking in the grind. It's just work ethic at the end of the day, yeah.
I don't think it's good for us to like say like all good traders are addicts too, because I don't want that to be what you think of as a trader, as somebody that has like, because I think of an addict as somebody who has like lacks impulse control, right? Like they're impulsive and stuff. So maybe you live like your life as an addict early on, but you have to learn to like slowly walk yourself back from that. I'm at the point now where I'm definitely not an addict anymore. If I don't trade for a long time, maybe like a couple of months I'll get itchy, but like right now I'm like very happy, even though the market's moving. I'm very happy to not catch a lot of these trades right now, let other people do it. I think in the long run you want to move in that direction where you don't feel that like sense of pressure anymore, just because it's not a healthy way to live long term.
What's the Paul Anacone quote? You're
Self-imposed pressure.
Yeah, your self-imposed pressure to make it is what holds you back from being the best version of yourself or something like that.
Talking about Taylor Fritz when he said that quote, I'm pretty sure.
Was he?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was on a Netflix show. I think Taylor had won the Indian Wells, and then he went back to it the next year and he lost.
I'm dedicated to getting liquidated. It's also good to have a good sense of humor in markets, man. You can't take losses too seriously. We're all gonna have some nasty losses once in a while. Have you noticed that volume deltas on TradingView can be sus during high vol? Not really. The volume indicators that I use are the Paragon ones. So I found this to be extremely consistent. I don't think I've messed with deltas on TradingView.
During waves of really high volatility, you can have issues where the exchange's APIs don't always, put the data out correctly. Because if, let's say like over the past 10 minutes, we've had like 10,000 trades and then all of a sudden 100,000 trades happen in 30 seconds or whatever, it's really easy for any application can screw up during that process. So normally it's from the exchanges themselves. I know that if you guys have been around a long time, you've noticed when there's high volatility where like one exchange's data just messed up, like Bybit's data is just wrong right now, where Binance isn't showing any open interest changes right now, even though we know it's changing open interest. So just take that all with a grain of salt. I don't think that you should care too much about the idea that like your indicators aren't perfect all the time too, right? I think a lot of newer traders get caught up on like, what if my volume says that they bought 5 Bitcoin when they really bought 5.5? Like, does it really fucking matter to you, right? Like, the idea is that someone's buying, and that's the information you need. Same thing with like levels or VWAPs. Do I use the perp chart or do I use the spot chart? They're $5 difference on Bitcoin right now, right? Like, who cares, right? So that's my outlook. Uh-oh.
I saw a question in here that I think I scrolled by. Is there any mistake that your student... No, wait, what is this thing? Is there any mistake do your students make that... Oh, okay. Is there any mistake that students make that annoys me? I think it's like early days learning intraday is a lot of people will execute kind of what I would consider no man's land, right? Like if you're in a rotational day and you have a clear meta where the market is bouncing at the 2 SD bands, right? Executing at the daily VWAP, is something that a lot of people end up doing early days. Is like, if you think of it, like a range, like we're just going to draw this, assume this is our 2 SD value area high, 2 SD value area low, on a rotational day, right? You see a move that goes down into the lows and holds. You see a move that goes down to the highs and holds. And a lot of people will try to take kind of continuation trades off the daily VWAP at the mean, right? This is kind of low EV for me, right? If you're in a clean rotational day, do not trade at the mean. What you're trying to do is take outside in trades, right? You're trying to trade the outsides towards the mean. You're not trying to take trades from the mean to the extremities. So I think that's a mistake that people often make early days. And usually when they're, this is what I love from students is like, I want them to share their trades with me, right? Like when I'm on stream in the Paragon stream, like if they say, hey Doc, can you review this trade that I took? This is a common mistake that I see people make at least once where they come to me with this. And what do you think about this trade? And I'll just say, dude, just don't execute at the mean at a reversionary day. You're just not going to have a good time. And I think it's a hard habit for some people to break and easier for others. So. But yeah, that's one thing that I don't say it doesn't make me upset at all. It's a common error that I see people making. Talking about volume delta, the wick into the daily VO up today, the volume profile was red and flipped green immediately. Sometimes these things just happen based on the way the candle closes. If the candle closes bullishly, it shows positive delta. If it closes negative, it shows negative delta. But you have to read between the lines a little bit. Like going to Agar will really help you. Go over here, go to Agar, find the move in question. I have it on the 10-second chart, so you'll see Binance spot was selling, right? Maybe the candle closed bullishly after the bounce, right? Because of a little bit of buying, the top side the books were empty, easy bounce from there, right? You don't see a lot of buy side effort, but that is negative delta into the lows, right? From Binance spot. This is Binance perp. You can look at Binance perp and find something similar. Look at the move down on Binance perp here, right? And the resulting buying afterwards. So you could definitely say negative deltas, even though, over here, it looks like a positive delta because the way the candle closed. It's the Wang, not the wizard. I used to say that shit a lot. It's the wand, not the wizard. Or no, it's the wizard, not the wand. You got me fucked up now too. Doc is such a patient teacher. I've never seen him get mad at a student. Is this Livid giving me props? Wild, dude. Doc reviewing our trades has done wonders. Yeah. You can see each student slowly progress as they share more trades. Dude, I think that's like a core thing is like you're going to get in or you're going to get out what you put in, right? All of these things are tools. Like if you're too shy and you're just kind of like lurking in chat and you're not asking people questions, you're not actively trading with the group and you're just trying to, learn passively, you're not going to progress that fast. The more kind of open you are about your current skill set, the better you're going to progress, right? Like if you think you're better than you are and you have this disillusion, you're not going to progress that fast. If you're open and honest of like, these are the trades that I'm taking. And you may think that you made a mistake because of X, Y, and Z, but you have someone with more experience to review it and you go, actually, wait, the mistake wasn't what you thought. This is what you can improve on, right? You're just going to progress much faster. You document your trading stats in some way. Right now I'm trading on RiseX, so RiseX has the stats for me. I think I posted some on CT yesterday. I can post the P&L curve if we want. It looks pretty good right now. I'm sneak dissing the other guy in the room. I didn't get that, dude. I just took the positivity.
There's no way that this guy's saying I'm impatient.
My favorite memory of you though is you calling me stupid like week 1 of joining Paragon.
I don't remember that at all.
It was a great lesson though. Like I don't think it was like aimed at me.
There's no way it was.
It wasn't aimed at me. I think you were probably just giving an example of like how people are stupid when they wait for like liquidity sweeps in a strong environment or something like that. Okay. Yeah. But I may have like, cause I didn't know you, I probably took it like, oh shit, I just asked a dumb question. But no, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that.
I only do that to the people that I'm like
I'm harder on the people that I'm better friends with, and just because I like to bust my friends' balls. But that's totally different than genuinely like trying to cook somebody.
I'll just get up.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's flexible for a reason. It's the one time I get to use it. That Nelly's gonna make a joke about that. That's awful.
Sweep it under the rug.
Nah, he's got it shipped and clipped and shipped already. It's over. Yeah, what were we talking about? Shit.
He called my coin gay and said it was never going up. He was right.
It's true, that's true. One of Nelly's biggest strengths that I lacked for a while, what was that? Oh, is the confidence to embrace failure. That's where it is. Okay. No fear of being wrong or looking stupid. Look at him now. Yeah, Nelly came in and asked a fuck ton of questions, bro. This guy was active for every stream. He didn't miss a stream. You know, he told me once, which I thought like was interesting because I think I've been through this too. He's like, I would hear Doc and Magus's voice in my head when I was taking trades, like based on how they would trade them and stuff. This guy like lived, breathed, slept the Paragon, and yeah, was super active, right? Like it was a bunch of active learning. It wasn't just passive lurking. It was let me ask about this, let me ask about that. What are your thoughts on this? How would you read this, right? It was nonstop, and I appreciate it. And the only other guy that did that, Livid, is actually you. When you came into Paragon, you were one of the most active question askers that we had, and I really appreciate that about you too.
Didn't they come in around the same time?
I think Livid was there like 6 months before Nelly. And then Livid like went on vacation or something. He went MIA and then Nelly came in. Yeah, the most messages in Paragon is Nelly and Livid by a mile.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. More than you, more than Lear, more than me, more than everyone.
I mean, I have like 80,000 messages in there, I think. So that's crazy to beat that.
Nelly, are you at 100K yet? Actually, we can't check. It was Lewis that was doing it. I don't know how he got the information.
I can do it from here. Just use the search function.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Top right.
That's right. That's right.
You just do like no channel specific, just the person.
Livid was there first. I came in April 2025. Yeah. You came in at a beautiful moment in markets, dude. You came in right at the tariffs. Did Merck call all of us?
I can't even tell how many messages Nelly has because he's just maxed out. Look, he's at the max on messages, media, links, files. He's literally
Is that
at
1,000 for
1,000's the
everything?
max.
Here, I can do it right here, I think.
It doesn't show me. His real name's Nelly.
Oh, yeah. That's just people. That's like this, right? Just click this. Yeah, Nelly, you're at 109,764 messages in Paragon. Hey, Doc, everyone. More than excited. We're not in that 4% chop of hell anymore. Price does not give me deja vu anymore. Yeah, I think we're all happy to be outside of that range, dude. I think, you know, the most optimistic approach is like we finally got our momentum burst, right? And we hope that this momentum can carry us like for the next few months until we have to build new value. I think being the guy here that is immediately looking to fade is not great. Just let the market do the work for you. Like that tweet that I posted yesterday, talking about like you don't have to do that much, right? It's a big lesson that I learned in Q4 of 2023. And if you guys want to go back and watch my 2023 and 2024 yearly reviews, they're on the public YouTube channel. You'll hear me talking about this at the time where I was just trying to do fucking way too much and take too many trades and try to hit everything. And oh, this looks, let me trade this, let me trade that. Oh wait, everything's pulling out. Let me close my position. Just like, it's too much stress. Just take quality trades. And when you're in a range bound environment, you want to be kind of like a take profit maxi. When you're in a momentum based environment, feel free to leave runners, leave room, maybe, you know, have some ambitious targets, allow yourself a day or two to allow some chop to play out when you get those solid entries, right? If you're chasing stuff and you're not getting quality entries, then you're going to just chop the fuck out of yourself, dude. You can't just top blast and go underwater and tell yourself you're going to have the mental resolve to hold, because a lot of people will just close as the pressure builds. To be fair, Nelly talks like that. He doesn't. He's alright. If you can time these rotations well, you'll be eating Gucci in this period, yeah. One thing that I should talk to you guys about, Nelly's already done this. He's been picking up spot. I think he's got very comfortable positions. I think he's been picking up Bitcoin for a while now, but Takashi and Zero IQ, like, I know you guys are grinding the intraday, which is, you know, what you should do to build a very like solid skill set for yourself to make money in any market. But just make sure you have some passive like upside exposure to the market too. Don't make day trading the only thing you want to do, right? Because it's very difficult, even for great traders, to out trade a Bitcoin uptrend, right? Just having a lot of chips in spot, not levered, and allow the market to do the heavy lifting for you is a real big blessing, right? If you're just trying to trade every move, right, it's a lot of stress on yourself to outperform that. Like, here's a good example. I've traded the absolute shit out of Hyperliquid for the past 2 weeks. Do you guys think that I outperformed or underperformed holding spot from 50 from where I got bullish on Hyperliquid? I've traded the shit out of this move, right? Outside of this one candle. But I have lost to buy and hold spot. Like if I just got that one position size right here and held it, it would have outperformed all of, I think my 80%, 90% win rate on trading Hyperliquid would have been outperformed by just holding some spot from here. Good morning, Abel.
When published through DMCAC for Nelly. Dude. Even on Saturdays, what a freak.
I don't understand how Nelly's doing all this and still like dating.
He's not.
He's lying. I think he met with a girl recently. Nelly, when was your last date? It was like last week, no? He told me a story though, like he was talking about Paragon or something on his date. He's talking about.
Wonder he didn't get a second date.
What the fuck? What day should I be doing it? Bro, I don't actually know what day you should be streaming on the public channel. Try to pick a time where not other people are streaming, I guess would be my guess. The thing is also, Nelly, I think the best time to stream, at least this for me, is like during New York session. And you may not want to sacrifice trades because you're not, well, I mean, maybe you can multitask, but I have a hard time multitasking trading and streaming. No way you talked about Paragon on a date. I think he told us, if I remember correctly, Nelly was saying that he was mentioning either trading or Paragon or something on his date with the girl. On Border, yeah. Did you drop your ref link, dude? It's funny that like intuitively, mentally, I know like I should wrap up the stream, and then I look at the time and it's always the 2-hour mark. It's like we have like an internal clock of like, yeah, it's 1 hour and 50 minutes. All right, boys, we'll probably wrap up the stream there. I think you guys asked a lot of good questions. I know we didn't go through a bunch of coins. I think we did a good amount, but you know, simple thing for me in a market like this is just continue playing strength until you see signs of momentum loss. If you guys want, you know, more education on the momentum loss side, like come to Paragon, we'll hook you up. We have video, both Magus and I have long, lengthy videos on that. If you want to learn more about intraday trading, we got you. The thing that, you know, like I've said this a lot over the years, the thing that I like most about Paragon is the culture that we've developed. Like the only people in there are people that are actually dedicated to fucking getting better, right? They're not in there to look for like handouts. They're in there because they're like, I want to actually excel at this. I want to be one of the best at this. And they bring that hunger and drive in every day, even though that we're autistic and we have fun and we make jokes all the time. Like at the root of it all, everyone's locked in trying to get better, sharing trade ideas, trading chats popping off. I don't know if there's like other people might have more members in their groups than us, but I don't think anyone has more activity than us. Like our trading chat be popping off 24 hours. Maybe not 24 hours, but you know, at
During
least
the main sessions.
yeah, during the main sessions for sure. I know Nelly and Livid took over the Asia session for like 6 months there, but maybe it's calmed down a little bit during Asia. But yeah, that's gonna do it. And again, shout out to the stream sponsor Kalshi. Next week I will probably go through their platform. Actually, not next week. Next week I'll be in New York to watch the US Open. But the week after, I'll be back and I'm going to walk you guys through the exchange. And if you guys ever want to support me and if you guys enjoy the streams or get any value out of this, you know, just signing up to Kalshi and trying it once would go a long way for me, right? That's all you got to do to pay it back. I'm never going to like charge money for streams or anything like that. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out and I will see you when I see you. Take care.